when I mentioned to you, I said there are levels to influence, right? This is what I believe. There's levels to influence. I'm not saying we didn't come from an era where stuff is bad. I'm not that person. But as the number of rappers that I see that are passing away as it relates to when we were kids to now, I just think there's a direct correlation to that sector of it being worse. That's just my personal opinion as it relates to influence. Okay. That's all I'm saying on that.
But what about, again, so I would say, all right, what about the positive influences that are being taken even from those same songs?
From the same records?
Who knows? I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like we can't, when we individualize it,
mm-hmm.
There are going to be anecdotally, meaning individual types of one-offs that have influenced something. Sure, in this particular instant, Ja Morant, maybe he listened to something that inspired him to act reckless, or maybe it was an entire genre or a specific part of rap music or whatever, right?
Right.
But at the same time, there are people that listened to that and did not get influenced to do that.
The rest of his team.
That's fair.
And so it's like the real conversation here is, I feel like the argument that you're kind of placing, you're kind of tiptoeing on,
mm-hmm.
is more so it's a dangerous slope to be on, because you're saying that art is almost responsible for what somebody is doing, when realistically the responsibility should lie on the person and their people around them. Just like if you're a child, it should be on the parents or the friends and all that other stuff like that, because there are violent movies out there that he's watching as well. You know, like, so it's just the balance aspect.
I'm not mad at that, because I had this conversation with someone else outside of us talking about it now. And the one thing I did say is I would love to hear from people that have children that can kind of speak on it from a parenting standpoint. That I can't. So when you talked about parenting, you talked about the people that are surrounding people. I get that part. So I understand what you're saying.
But I don't think it's just parroting. I think it's just who we're around and who we influence.
Clarence had good parents.
If I'm around Terry all the time,
right,
and I'm constantly talking about robbing people, my neighbor, and asking if he wants to join in with me,
mm-hmm.
and then one time he randomly does, versus
mm-hmm.
me, who is just like, hey, do you want to come over and play video games? That's more of an influence than some song we listen to.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, it's like, so I feel like there's levels of it. And maybe my metaphor sucks, but
no, I follow you.
But when people decide they're going to, you know, invest in real estate, start to look at the stock market,
mm-hmm.
And they're going to do right by the woman that they married, are they going to say, oh, well, we got to blame that on 444?
Well, that's positive, though. Positive doesn't sell.
At all.
People that take the positive messages out of hip hop, those aren't provocative enough to raise an eyebrow. It's always the negative connotations, and that's with anything in life. Nobody ever talks about the good stuff.
That's a fact.
It's always the bad stuff that makes people want to talk about it.
To sell. But that does not mean that one, this music's not being made, mm-hmm. and that people are not still taking from this.
No, definitely
you know
not.
what I mean? So like, even though we're sitting here like we're talking about the type of music that Ja listens to, which I don't even know what music he listens to.
Sure.
Or even specifically drill music.
Sure.
Who's to say that more people, this is directly to Terry's point, more people aren't influenced by the positivity of something J. Cole said or something, right?
Right.
They just don't talk about it because it doesn't sell. So the stuff still happens, and hip hop is still positively influencing people. It's just, like to Terry's point, it doesn't get talked about because it's more easy to focus on the negativity, because the negativity of the aspect of everything is what people turn to because it's conflict.
And I don't think I clarify my initial point.
You just couldn't wait to say how much you hate drill.
Well,
I mean, you wanted to blame it on that.
But I've always said that, though, to be clear. Like, I've consistently said I don't listen to drill music.
Yeah, but people from the outside, when they hear drill music, it's like, oh, more rap music.
Yeah, I've always been on that side. But to his point, that's true. But I said it to say, initially, it was, the reason I said it's a broad statement is because of what you're saying. There are so many levels of it. So that's why I was like, I kind of wish he would have said, instead of just saying, he used those couple examples, I took that as if it's like hip hop. Hip hop is so influential, and hip hop is the reason that Ja did this, and this. It's like, nah.
Ja Rule fumbled his one and only time where we came to him for the answer. And we've been waiting for this day all these years.
Yes.
And he he just missed his opportunity
Just
to
drop the
say
ball on that
something
one.
that was very meaningful and
Yes.
meant something
Yes.
by just copping out, man. I
But
really
also,
hate that for Ja Rule.
but you got to remember, Ja Rule he's old now.
He's old.
He ain't that old.
He old enough-
Older.
He's older now.
To kind of close it out, I
Yes,
just say like
yes,
I
yes, yes, yes.
don't. I feel like we give too much power to and it deflects too much away from other type of conditions when you try to blame the art. And as somebody who makes art, it's all very contextual. Even drill music, I'm sure, I'm sure there's some stuff out there that's literally just shock value, right? But I don't want to label the entire genre like that, especially when it's realistically, for the most part, documenting. So I feel like there's a difference there, and I think it's important to.
I like the context. I get it. I understand. I like the context. I like how you're framing it. So I'm not mad at that. And there may be levels to, there's probably multiple levels to each faction of hip hop in each part of the genre. So I get that part. I'm not mad at you there. It's just, I guess I just try to tie it to the results and what I see, and some of the stuff that I see as it relates to these deaths and these kids is just, that's my angle for it.
You're
but
Clint
I totally
Eastwood and El Camino.
Is that what?
Yeah.
But don't be that guy.
Don't be.
Or no,
I'm sorry.
No, what was that?
Is that
Gran Torino?
Is that what it is?
One of
Okay.
them cars.
That was an awesome movie.
It
by
was
the way.
pretty
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Either way, I get what you're saying, bro. So I'm not.
I mean,
here
it's just
to-
like,
I understand.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
This is him every time I hear a kid coming down the street bumping drill music.
I just
Those damn kids.
I'm hey,
This
get off.
him.
I'm get off my lawn when it comes to that, bro. I'm
Yeah.
openly that way, man. I don't like.
What is all that bro anyway?
We have to look at it from the bigger perspective.
Yes.
Always when it comes to art, and always when it comes to those stuff, because it's so easy for people to pivot and to take hip hop and to make it
Blame
this
it on
evil
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Evil thing. And so like this to me, Ja Rule's like even Pat Bev, like it's like they're
passing
falling
the buck.
falling
Can't
for the
wait.
okie doke almost.
Man, this
Passing
is
the
a
buck.
young man that has a lot of money.
Okay.
He felt entitled. It goes back to entitlement to me.
Exactly.
It doesn't have any. You could take hip
entitlement.
hop completely out of it. It
has
just comes
nothing to
down
do
to
with hip-hop.
entitlement.
Now I'm with y'all on that. I'm with you. I'm just saying as it relates to
Like
Ja,
what they
that's
gonna
all.
tell me? I'm gonna be in here with no shirt and a gun and throwing.
Yeah.
I threw $50,000.
I'm rich.
I threw
I got my-
$50,000
I got
on
my
the
feet
ground.
on they
Y'all
couch.
can't tell me nothing.
I'm telling you.
I
It's just
agree.
like when people say like, it's drill music, or man, it's like, man, shut up.
Yeah,
That's how I be feeling too.
Hey,
like
man,
you just made bad decisions. Don't put it on the art.
I'm not mad at y'all, man. It's
Yeah.
just it's
Doing
good.
hood rat things with his friends.